Hey everyone, I'm Aidan Walls. I have a pretty shocking opinion to share with you today as a very committed, very vocal Fuji fan. I asked around to borrow the EOS R because I knew that I was going to hate this camera. Well, I've only had it for 3 days. Day 1, I was picking apart all its weird shortcomings. Day 2, I was trying to figure out why did I not like it on day 1. And day 3, I'm thinking to myself, should I switch to Canon? But I just want to quickly touch on and kind of blow away some of the deal breakers with the EOS R that I came in with a mindset of, you know, it's got all these things, it's crap. And I just want to kind of deal with those quickly. All right, so frame rates. Canon started with strictly 25 frames per second, and I think they did 60 frames, which was weird. So they did 25 and they did 60, but they didn't do 24. Very strange setup. That being said, they have improved on that. I still don't quite understand why all my big YouTube heroes in America said it's a great camera when it was doing 25 frames per second, and they all swore by 24 frames per second before that. But anyway, we'll forgive them for saying those things. Canon have fixed that now, and it does 24 frames per second, and so that's kind of not an issue anymore. The one thing that you might take issue with is that the Canon doesn't do slow motion. I rely on slow motion a lot, especially with my Fujifilm X-T30, because it doesn't have IBIS or any form of stabilization. So if I'm doing handheld B-roll or just handheld shots in general of people walking around, the slow-mo helps me a lot. But anyway, it doesn't have slow-mo. And I know of a friend who uses the optical flow feature in Final Cut Pro, or is it Premiere? One of the programs. I've done that before in Final Cut Pro, where I actually stretch the capabilities of the frame rates on my camera, and the program actually adds frames in, and so I can actually fake about 80 frames per second or something. I can stretch the 60 frames to go a bit further. So there are workarounds for that. It's not ideal. I would love to have slow-mo coming out the camera just natively, but it's not really a deal breaker. Memory cards. The big online hoo-ha was that the Canon EOS R only uses one memory card. For me as a video maker, that really isn't a train smash. I only use one memory card. My XH1 has 2 memory cards, but I often only have one in it because I don't need 2. I don't need redundancy. For, you know, big time photographers, that might be an issue, but at the end of the day, you know, buy a bigger memory card. SanDisk memory cards are so reliable these days. If you start seeing it showing some wear and tear, buy another one. Price. Now, this is starting to tread into the area where it could be a deal breaker for most of us. I was saying to Jacques, who works with me, that I wouldn't have the gear I have now, and my business wouldn't be where it is now if I had started with a full frame like Sony or Canon, because those lenses are very often twice, if not more, the price of my Fuji lenses. I bought one of Fuji's nicest lenses, the 56 f1.2. At the shop, I think it's 12,000. I could have got a discount for about 10. I bought it secondhand for about 8.5. It is expensive, but when you look at the equivalent Canon or Sony lenses, you're looking at 20,000+ rand, and I'll put the dollar price up on the screen while I'm speaking. And price of the bodies is also very high. The Canon EOS R is 32,000 rand. My Fujifilm X-H1, I think when it came out was under that. It was about 28,000 rand, which is quite a bit, but the X-T3, the Fuji X-T3 is retailing at about that now, and it beats the Canon EOS R spec for spec pretty much in every arena. So it is quite expensive, but the real deal breaker when it comes to price of the lens. So the price is kind of heading into like, should I get into this territory? But the thing is, full frame, it really is stunning. And then we head into territory that makes me nervous with the Canon EOS R, is the 4K crop. So for comical effect, we're going to switch the Canon. We're actually going to switch both cameras to 4K right now. So this is the 4K on the Canon EOS R. It is a 1.7 crop. That's just insane. The camera right next to it is my Fuji X-T30. It is a 10,000 rand camera. I think retailing now at about 14. I got it at Black Friday for 10,000 rand, but 10,000 versus a 32,000 rand camera. That's insane. That's for, you know what, for me that's a deal breaker. You Canon, you. Like, how on earth can you make a 32,000 Rand camera in 2019, it's 2020 today, but in 2019 this camera came out. All the other cameras were coming out with cameras with no crop. My Fuji doesn't have a crop right now. This crop is insane and completely unusable unless you are wanting to zoom in, or perhaps you could use it in the studio and go really wide. But for vlogging and everything else, it's completely, there's no point in having 4K on this camera. And we're reaching a point in a day and age where cameras are starting to bring out 6K, and we need higher resolution for cropping our image and all sorts of reasons in post-production. It's just, to me, it's almost like a matter of principle, but when you're spending this kind of money on a camera, you kind of expect all the features. And when you're a new buyer coming into the market, you don't look into all these things. And 4K can be a very valuable tool in post-production when you're trying to crop images or zoom in more. If you use a very sharp lens plus 4K, it gives you a lot of possibilities in post-production. And I just feel like Canon are still going on with their market segmentation. It's the reason they brought out the EOS R with 25 frames per second. There was such a big backlash with that they had to just give in, but they're still trying to do it. The Canon R5 is coming out. It's going to be ridiculously expensive, but it's going to have the features that we were all looking for in the EOS R. For me, that's not a brand I can trust. Like, I want to invest in a camera system that I know is looking after me and is going to bring out cameras that are going to improve usability and me being able to produce the goods for my clients on a daily basis. And for me, stuff like that is just unacceptable. I actually did get a bit upset now. Whew, that got a bit intense. Let's just calm down. So in conclusion, I'm switching to I can't even say it. There's no ways. Like, I'm not switching to Canon. Not a chance. Like, I will continue to invest in the Fuji system because it's saving me thousands of rands every year, and the lenses I need are way cheaper. And as a business owner, it doesn't make sense to invest in a system where I'm not 100% sure where they're going or what they're offering. Maybe I'll invest in full frame and Canon when they finally catch up, but then by then I'm probably going to be too old and I won't be making videos anyway. But in all seriousness though, by the time they do finally catch up and offer something that's affordable and something that I want to buy, I'll probably have my sights set on Fuji's medium format system, a bigger sensor, and they're working on technology to make it faster and make it better and do better video. It's already has IBIS on a medium format sensor, so that's probably where I'll head. I probably will skip the whole full frame drama and head to medium format when it's ready for me. So as a TV presenter I really enjoy says, on that bombshell, thanks so much for watching. I hope I upset you a little bit. You can get angry with me in the comments. If you dislike the video, click the dislike button twice, give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one.